Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be diving into a topic that is probably on a lot of your minds, especially if you're over 50, retirement milestones.
Oh, yeah, big time.
And we've got a fantastic resource to guide us on this deep dive, an article from KTG Products called Age Milestones Towards Retirement.
This is a really great piece, very comprehensive, covers all the key ages and decisions, that you face on the road to retirement.
So even if retirement seems like it's, way off in the distance for some of you listening, understanding these milestones now can make a world of difference later on.
Absolutely.
So whether you're, in your 50s or just starting to think about the future, this deep dive is for you.
Yep.
We'll be exploring things like, catch-up contributions,
Right.
early withdrawal options, and even touch on Social Security.
Exactly. And we'll go beyond just defining what those terms mean. We'll look at, what are the implications of these things.
Yeah.
So how can each of these milestones really be a stepping stone toward a secure and fulfilling retirement?
Okay, so let's start with a milestone that kicks in right at age 50, catch-up contributions. This is something that can really supercharge your savings, especially if you're feeling like maybe you're a little bit behind.
Yeah, you're right. The catch-up contribution rule allows you to put in an extra $7,500 into your 401k on top of the regular limit. So in 2024, that means that you could be contributing, get this, $30,500 total.
Wow, that's serious savings power.
Yeah.
If you start using that catch-up option at 50 and keep going until retirement, that could make a huge difference in your nest egg.
Yeah, you're right. And, this isn't just some random thing they threw in there, This came about because they recognize that sometimes life, throws you a curveball. Maybe your career shifts, or, maybe you just weren't able to save as much as you hoped you would when you were younger. This gives you a chance to, catch up.
It does. It's like a second win for retirement savings. Now, this rule was introduced back in 2001 as part of an act, specifically designed to help older workers boost their savings. And what's really encouraging is that people are actually using it.
Yeah, you're right. Studies have actually shown that there's been a noticeable increase in 401k contributions among those who can take advantage of this catch-up contribution. So it seems like people are recognizing the value and they're doing something about it.
It's great to see people, taking their retirement savings seriously.
Yeah.
But what about those folks who are thinking about, maybe tapping into those savings a little early, say at age 55?
Yeah, 55. So that's when you can start taking money out of your 401k without that usual 10% early withdrawal penalty.
Well, that sounds pretty tempting, especially on those Monday mornings when you just don't want to go to work. But is it really that simple?
Well, not quite. You might be able to avoid that 10% penalty, but you're still going to owe income tax on anything that you take out. So it's not quite a free pass to all your retirement money just yet.
So you've really got to weigh the benefits of early access against, those potential tax implications. It's not a decision to be made lightly.
Exactly right. It really depends on each person's situation. Like if you're dealing with big medical bills or suddenly lose your job, you might need to tap into that 401k. But you have to really think about what that means for your savings goals in the long run. Every dollar you take out early is a dollar that is not there growing for your future.
That's a really good point. It's almost like a balancing act between taking care of things right now and making sure that you're financially secure in the future.
Yeah, exactly. And don't forget, there are other ways to get help. Like, have you thought about unemployment insurance?
All right.
Things like that. Those can maybe help you out in a pinch without having to touch that retirement money.
So before you make any decisions about early withdrawals, it's really important to look at all your options.
Absolutely.
And really think about those consequences, both now and in the future.
Yeah, long term.
Okay. Well, we've talked about, the pluses and minuses of early withdrawals. But let's move on to a milestone that I think a lot of people really look forward to. Age 59 and a half.
Yeah, 59 and a half. That's when you can finally access all that money you've been saving in your retirement accounts, like your IRAs and your 401ks, without getting hit with any penalties.
It's like the doors have finally swung open, right? No more penalties. Just freedom to use that money you've worked so hard for.
Yeah. And actually, studies show that there's a huge spike in withdrawals as soon as people hit that age.
Oh, wow.
It's like everyone's just itching to get their hands on those savings and, start enjoying the fruits of their labor.
I can only imagine. It must be a huge relief to finally have access to that money without any restrictions. Mm-hmm. But does this mean everyone should start withdrawing as soon as they turn 59 and a half?
Well, not necessarily. Even though it's great to have penalty-free access, you still want to have a smart plan for taking out that money.
So it's not just about, like grabbing the cash and running.
Right. It's about making those withdrawals work for you and your goals for retirement.
So it's more than just having the money available. It's about knowing how to use it wisely.
Exactly. Reaching 59 and a half opens up a lot of possibilities. You can decide how much to withdraw, when to withdraw,
Okay.
and try to minimize your taxes, keep your income steady, and make sure that your savings last throughout your retirement.
So it's less about a frantic rush to get your money and more about having that control over your finances.
Exactly. It's about being in the driver's seat and shaping your retirement based on what you need and what.
Now, speaking of retirement planning, we can't forget about a major piece of the puzzle, right? Social Security.
Oh, yeah, Social Security. That's often a big chunk of retirement income for a lot of folks.
For sure.
And deciding when to start receiving those benefits can have a big impact on your finances down the road.
So let's break it down. We know that 62 is the earliest you can claim Social Security benefits. But what happens if you claim early?
Well, the catch is that you'll get a smaller monthly payment.
Oh.
The longer you wait to claim, up to age 70, the higher those monthly payments will be.
So it's like a trade-off, right? Getting the money sooner, but getting less of it, or waiting.
Yeah.
And potentially getting a bigger check each month.
Yeah, exactly. It's a tough decision, and it gets even trickier when you consider everyone's got a different situation.
Right.
Things like health, how long you expect to live, and what other income you have, all those things come into play.
It's not one size fits all.
Nope, not at all. And there's research out there showing that those who claimed early ended up with less overall income during retirement.
Oh, wow.
Which can put a real strain on your finances and even make you more likely to experience poverty.
That's a sobering thought.
Yeah.
It's important to remember, though, not everyone has the option to wait.
You're absolutely right. Some people might have to claim early because, they lost their job, they have health problems, or they're just struggling to make ends meet.
It's about making the best choice you can with what you've got.
Exactly.
Okay, so moving on, let's talk about another big age, 65. This one's not just about retirement itself, it's about health care, too.
Yes. Age 65 is when you can get Medicare, the federal health insurance program for people 65 and over. And this is a deadline you really don't want to miss.
Medicare is like a lifeline for so many retirees, helping them manage healthcare costs. But what if you miss that enrollment deadline?
That could mean paying higher premiums for the rest of your life, and those extra costs can really pile up, especially when you're on a fixed income.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely something to avoid. So make sure you're aware of those Medicare deadlines and get yourself signed up on time.
And here's something that people might not realize. Even if you've still got coverage through your employer when you turn 65, putting off Medicare enrollment can come back to bite you later.
So it's always best to do your homework and understand how Medicare works, regardless of your current insurance situation.
Absolutely. Now let's switch gears and talk about delaying Social Security benefits until age 70.
Ah, yes, the ultimate delayed gratification strategy. What's the payoff for waiting that long?
Well, every year you wait past your full retirement age, your monthly benefit amount goes up. And if you wait all the way until 72, you could see a 32% increase in those payments.
Wow, that's a significant bump. It really shows the power of patience when it comes to Social Security.
It sure does. Studies have shown that this approach can lead to a much bigger total payout over your lifetime, especially for those who live longer.
So you're kind of betting on living a long life.
In a way, yeah, but it could pay off big time. It's all about maximizing your income later in life when you might need it the most.
So we've covered a lot of ground here. Catch-up contributions, early withdrawals, Social Security strategies. Is there anything else we need to know as we approach these later life financial milestones?
Well, there's one more thing we should talk about. It's not as fun as, getting bigger checks, but it's just as important. Required minimum distributions, or RMDs.
RMDs, right. They're not really the most exciting part of retirement planning.
Yeah.
But they are really important. So can you break down what RMDs are all about and why we need to pay attention to them?
Absolutely. So RMDs stand for Required Minimum Distributions. And basically, it's the government's way of making sure that you're not just letting all that money sit in your retirement accounts forever. Once you hit a certain age, they say you've got to start taking out a certain amount each year.
So even though it's our money, we can't just, let it sit there and grow.
Right. Like right now, you have to start taking RMDs at age 72, but that's actually going up to 73 by 2025.
Okay.
The idea is to get people to actually use their retirement savings during retirement.
Okay.
And of course, for the government to get their share of taxes from those funds eventually.
Ah, the tax man. He always gets his cut. But I can see the logic there. It wouldn't make sense to save all that money for retirement and then never actually use it. But what if you forget to take those RMDs or just decide not to? Are there penalties for that?
Oh, yeah, there are, and they can be pretty steep. You could end up having to pay 50% of the amount that you should have withdrawn.
Wow, 50%. That's a big chunk of change. You really don't want to mess around with RMDs. So how do you even figure out how much you're supposed to take out each year? I mean, the calculations seem pretty complex.
They can be, which is why it's often a good idea to talk to a financial advisor.
Okay, yeah.
They can help you crunch those numbers, see what your options are for withdrawing the money, and come up with a plan that makes sense for your overall financial situation.
It sounds like having an expert in your corner can really make a difference when it comes to RMDs.
Oh, for sure. Especially since, as we've been talking about, retirement planning is full of big decisions to make. Catch-up contributions, when to claim Social Security, dealing with these RMDs. Having a financial advisor to guide you through all of that can really give you some peace of mind.
Yeah, it's like having a co-pilot on your retirement journey, helping you navigate all the ins and outs of these financial matters.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up our deep dive today, what are the key takeaways that our listeners, especially those over 50, should remember?
I think the biggest thing is that knowledge is power. The more you know about these milestones, the better prepared you'll be to make the right choices for your retirement. Whether it's maximizing those catch-up contributions, really thinking through early withdrawal options, or coming up with a solid plan for Social Security, being proactive can make all the difference.
It's like having a roadmap for your retirement journey, highlighting the important stops along the way and helping you plan the best route to get to your destination. But it's not just about the financial side of things, right?
Absolutely not. Retirement's not just about money. It's about a whole new chapter in your life. So while you're figuring out all those financial milestones, take some time to think about the bigger picture. What do you want your retirement to look like? What are you passionate about? What have you always wanted to do but maybe never had the time for?
Yeah, it's about finding that balance between financial security and, really enjoying life. Retirement shouldn't just be about having enough money. It should be about having the freedom to do what you love.
Exactly. And the financial planning you do now, understanding these milestones, making smart decisions, all of that lays the foundation for the future that you want to build. It's an investment not just in your financial well-being, but in your overall happiness and sense of purpose.
So as we leave our listeners with a final thought, I want to ask this. How will you use what you've learned today to shape your own retirement journey? How will you achieve both financial security and personal fulfillment in this next chapter of your life?
It's your time to define what retirement means to you. Embrace the possibilities and create a future that truly excites you.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into retirement milestones. We hope you found it informative and empowering. Remember, retirement planning isn't just about crunching numbers. It's about creating a future where you can thrive both financially and personally.